Good morning. God, it's wonderful to be here, only because I live across the road. So it's wonderful to be at a venue I don't have to travel to. Yes, Ryan is quite correct. I'm a political economy analyst. With me, you get two for the price of one. You get the politics of the world, South Africa and Africa. You get the economics of both as well. And ultimately, my particular interest is the world. My particular interest is putting in perspective how the global economy works, what affects the global economy. I look at regions, I look at countries, and clearly I drill all of this back into South Africa as well. It's not just about where we live right here. There's a big wide world out there. And the more work that I do globally, and I certainly do a lot of work globally, particularly this year, the more it's important to understand the workings of the US economy and how Mr. Trump's economics and politics is going to affect us all. I must tell you, it's not easy for Mr. Trump going forward, and many of these issues are going to affect the ability of Trump to really deliver on what he says he wants to do. So watch this space over the course of the next few months or so. It's not just in the United States, my friends, where there are issues. Across the pond in the UK, issues about Brexit are slowing that economy, and watch the space for ongoing issues relating to Brexit. For us here on this continent, and I love Africa, travel constantly into other parts of the continent as well. This is a fascinating place to watch, but it's not easy doing business across Africa, and each country and region, and for that matter, city, has to be analyzed in terms of economic opportunity. I deal with many of the issues about macroeconomic development and expansion into Africa in many of my keynotes as well. Now, talking about Trump, one does tend to be a little bit confused about leaders of the world. Some of these leaders seem to be morphing into each other as we speak. And clearly, my bread and butter has been for the past number of years dealing with South African politics. What's happening in this country? I could show you countless graphs which don't look too good about the South African economy, and that's the one that I show about the ratings downgrades. And I talk about the effect of the ratings downgrades and why this could be potentially problematic for South Africa going forward. But there are other issues to consider about South Africa as well. Team Gupta have been very active in South Africa in the course of the last few years or so, and the effects of this on the ANC and on the future of South Africa, very profound as I stand here now. So, my friends, we are on the cusp of a very, very important and perhaps the most critical 6 months towards the end of the year when the ANC have their elective conference. One of these two, maybe there'll be a surprise other candidate, but one of these two is likely to be the leader of the ANC and by implication, therefore, the future president of South Africa. It will not only affect your lives, it will affect also the longevity of the ANC as an organization, and it is increasingly important to analyze what's happening inside the ANC and which of these two candidates are going to be better or worse for us, or for that matter, for the party as well. If you think you have headaches at the end of the day, my friend, Gwede Mantashe has perhaps the biggest babalas or headache of all of us, trying to resolve so many of these issues. My presentations are, in a sense, fasten your seatbelt stuff. The world is not easy, whether you're in Washington, whether you're in London, or for that matter, whether you are in Johannesburg or Cape Town. That's what I deal with, the global political economy, Africa and South Africa. Thank you.
Well, Daniel, you've made things easy for me. Out of a 7-minute slot, you've taken care of most of that. So
I do that well, Ryan.
So you've just come back from the US and you're about to travel off to Singapore. So perhaps an unfair question and a difficult one to answer in the time we have, but based on your interaction with clients and what you see going on, what is the state of the global economy and what changes are going to affect business most over the next couple of years?
Thanks, Ryan. I know I've got an hour to answer that question, but the global economy is not looking too bad. If you're in the United States, that economy is ticking along quite nicely, notwithstanding Mr. Trump and whatever you might think of him. If you're in the UK, it's a little bit tougher out there as Brexit starts to affect the value of the pound sterling. Retail sales are poor. But in China, that economy continues to grow at 6%. In India, it's over 7.5% GDP. We in South Africa have about 0.7% GDP growth. In India, it's 7.5% GDP growth, and that's a country of 1.2 billion. So emerging markets looking reasonable. The US economy is still looking reasonable. Hiccups in the UK, but Europe looking a lot better as there's more political stability coming through in that particular region.
Not bad, Daniel. Well,
There you
tough
go.
tough question,
You didn't
good
think
answer.
I could do that. You didn't think I could do that.
All right, now, and you have a deep interest in Africa and what goes on in Africa. And given your recent experiences in Ethiopia and Kenya, what would you say is the current investment climate and prospects for growth in the short and medium term in that region?
Look, I remain very bullish about the African continent, but it's been a rough last 2 years or so. Many of these countries that have had extensive growth, I mean, GDP growth has gone through the roof in Africa, but in the last 2 years, it's dropped. Nigeria has had a slump as a result of a falling oil price. Angola as well. But go to East Africa, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where I was recently. It's booming. Development, cranes, apartments, hotels, you name it. Nairobi, booming. Growth rates of 5 or 6% over the course of the last year or so. So different regions of Africa are now growing at different levels, and I think that's the message. When you're looking at African expansion, you've really got to know what's hot and where's a little cooler. And Africa now is not just one basket of countries. There are very distinct regional differences. And I think it's important really to understand the continent not just as this huge, massive 54-country continent, but it is indeed each country by country that needs to be looked at.
And one of those countries is the one we're in, where we live, where you find yourself unusually in South Africa, and we're here. So in 20 seconds, Daniel, South Africa, is there any hope? Should we be getting the hell out of here? What are the prospects for us?
Ryan, you're almost as old as me. We've been asking the same question, all of us, for the last, I don't know how many years. Should we leave? Should we stay? There's every good reason to believe that there are very good people out there in all political parties who will rectify the current state of affairs within the country. But I will tell you that it's a rough ride over the course, not just of the next 6 months to the ANC's conference at the end of the year, but it's going to be a very rough ride until the next election in 2019. Because we are looking at a South Africa in which the ANC cannot be guaranteed power. And this is a first for all of us. For all of us who've lived in South Africa, we've enjoyed, and I put it in inverted commas, one-party dominance under the old National Party. We are now enjoying one-party dominance under the ANC. But it's not guaranteed anymore. And that will bring a degree of instability as we move to a more competitive political era, which I do believe is actually beneficial to South Africa in the medium term. You've just got to survive and fasten your seatbelts for the period that we're in.
Buckle up, it'll get better beyond there. Okay, so there you go. The man knows his stuff. He knows economy. He knows politics. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Silke.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks very much.